like all the others. You must be exterminated.
Are you surprised that Rogue's first on-screen appearance is most well known for something other than her powers? In X-Men the Animated Series back in 1992, we got introduced to Rogue, a flirtatious and absolutely curvaceous southern bombshell. Rogue's butt has become the stuff of meme legend, and it all stems from this show, with her green and yellow skin-tight bodysuit showing off her most beloved asset. The white streak in her wavy locks is another defining feature. She also famously wears a green military-style jacket with X symbols on the shoulders, and often has red lipstick and a black hairband keeping her locks from her eyes. And you can't forget the yellow gloves that she wears almost permanently to stop herself from accidentally touching and hurting those around her, including her beloved Gambit. She's a powerful team member due to her ability to absorb the essence of those she touches skin to skin, including the powers of other mutants. She can fly and possesses super strength, powers she stole from Miss Marvel, leaving her in a coma. In the Season 2 episode of A Rogue's Tale, we get to explore her backstory when Rogue's past resurfaces. As the X-Men engage in a conflict with the Brotherhood of Mutants, she finds herself confronting suppressed memories, former allies, the source of her powers, and the influential woman who shaped her into the person she is now. In Season 5, the animation style changed greatly, and suddenly Rogue's jacket was brown instead of green, and her hair was way less huge.
I am my powers, and the good they can do for my friends and for the whole world. I reckon maybe I can live with that after all. Thanks anyway, Doc.
Presumably, Spider-Man the Animated Series lived in the same universe as the X-Men, and in Season 2 of the show, we got a crossover in a two-part event in 1995. Spidey goes to the X-Men to ask them for their help with his mutation, and Rogue can't help but have a sneaky flirt with him before Wolverine breaks it up.
Don't worry about me, sugar. Once bitten, twice shy. Haul away!
The next time we saw Rogue was in live action. Anna Paquin played the character on screen, but in comparison to the flirty Southern belle from the animated show, this couldn't have been more different. We don't get to see Rogue in her iconic uniform in this movie. Instead, she wears casual clothes. Unlike her animated counterpart, this Rogue doesn't possess Miss Marvel's powers, such as super strength or flight, and struggles to control her signature power-draining ability. She still has her southern accent, and though she doesn't have the streak during most of the movie, she gains it in the end. In the plot, Rogue discovers her powers after her kiss leaves her boyfriend comatose. Fleeing, she's saved by the X-Men, then manipulated by Mystique into Magneto's clutches. The X-Men rescue her, with Logan draining his healing abilities to save her.
When people touch my skin, something happens.
What?
I don't know. They just get hurt.
Rogue also appeared in X-Men Evolution from 2000 to 2003. This animated version was a younger Rogue, shown as a moody and withdrawn teen goth girl. Like the live-action approach, the studio figured her isolation and insecurity caused by her absorption powers would have this effect on a teenage girl. Raised by Mystique and Irene Adler in Cadillac County, Mississippi, Rogue initially falls under Mystique's influence in the Brotherhood before defecting to the X-Men. She wears a see-through green top over a black vest, with a black skirt, leggings, and gloves, giving her a real goth image. While her hair is shorter and straighter, the silver streak is pronounced.
Don't mess with the Rogue!
Paquin returned in X2, X-Men United in 2003. This time, sporting a black leather costume, we see Rogue in a proper romantic relationship with Iceman. She's relegated to a smaller role, whereas the first movie had her front and center.
You okay? How are you?
Who's this?
Oh, this is Bobby.
I'm her
He's my...
boyfriend.
So how do you guys...
Well, we're still working on that.
In 2006, the original live-action trilogy came to a close with X-Men The Last Stand. Played again by Paquin, Rogue becomes increasingly interested in the mutant Kerr as her abilities strain her connection with Drake, who is getting close to Kitty Pryde. After speaking with Logan, who was a father figure to her, Rogue eventually decides to take the cure, bringing her arc to an end, or so we thought. There is also an alternate ending where she decides against the cure.
I'm sorry. I had to. It's what I wanted.
Marvel Superheroes What The was a fun web series that ran from 2009 to 2019 and featured Rogue as an animated action figure, looking how she did at the end of Season 5 of X-Men the Animated Series.
It sure was, sugar.
In 2009's Wolverine and the X-Men, Rogue is appearing as a loner who sees Logan as a surrogate father. A year before where the plot of the series begins, the pair got into an argument and Rogue seemingly joins the Brotherhood of Mutants. Later in the series, she is revealed to be a double agent and rejoins the X-Men. The yellow and green suit with a brown jacket was back, and she appeared with her hair tied up, bar the white streak through her fringe, which she lets hang down.
What have you been eating, bugs?
In a 2011 episode of Mad, Rogue appeared alongside the X-Men with her iconic look from the animated series. After absorbing Meredith Palmer's knowledge, she experiences unexpected feelings of depression.
I don't feel like doing anything. Honey, come with me, I've got just the thing.
Later that year, Rogue makes a brief non-speaking appearance in Marvel anime X-Men. In 2014's Wolverine vs. Sabretooth motion comic, Rogue is in charge at the mansion, voiced with a southern twang, and wearing a dark green suit with white details, a white scarf, and a cape with big boots. Her hair, as usual, brown with white streak. Paquin came back in 2014 for X-Men Days of Future Past. In the theatrical version of the movie, Rogue is glimpsed after Logan returns from his time travel mission. Rogue is shown leaving her room at the X-Mansion, holding hands with Bobby. They smile at Logan before walking off together. However, there's a whole alternate version of the film known as the Rogue Cut, with Rogue playing a much more central role in the story. In that version, her usual costume is replaced by a gray uniform, and she ends up taking over from Kitty by absorbing her powers when Logan accidentally fatally stabs her. She isn't able to save Bobby from the Sentinels, but like the theatrical version, the timeline is reset and everyone, including Bobby, is alive in the present day. A lot of people prefer the Rogue Cut to the final cinematic version.
I'm sorry, Kitty.
Rogue returns in X-Men 97, the first Disney Marvel-produced X-Men property, but isn't part of the MCU. Instead, it follows on from the animated series. The butt of meme legend is gone. Still, Rogue has her classic look. Despite the updated and crispy animation style, not much has changed in her outfit or her look in general, apart from being slimmed down. In episode 2, she shows us a new use for her powers, using them to absorb the knowledge of a doctor so she can help deliver a baby, something the doctor is refusing to do. She's still going strong with Gambit, but rebuilds her old affiliation with Magneto as he takes over the mansion and the leadership of the team. And in a strange twist, we see that she's able to touch him skin on skin without hurting him or absorbing his power.
Look, plenty of us at this table have passed so dirty they don't squeak no matter how much spit you got. Maybe we should take a page from the professor's playbook and give Eric a second shot.
Paquin might not be done just yet. She's slated to be coming back, along with a whole host of the original trilogy cast for a single ride out in the MCU, thanks to Deadpool and the Wolverine. We cannot wait to see how these characters interact with Deadpool on screen.